Today we will discuss about the anti-abdominal wall and muscles of the anti-abdominal wall. First of all, the layer of the anti-abdominal wall. There are first layer, it is the skin. After that, you can see this is the yellowish color, it is a fatty layer. Superficial fascia has a two layer. Fatty layer, it is called the fascia camper, and deep to it there is a membranous layer. Deep to it is called the membranous layer. So here this is the membranous layer of the membranous layer. It is the fascia scarpa. Deep to it there is a muscles, it is called the directed downwards, forwards and medially. It is the external oblique, and external oblique, it is the most superficial muscles. After that you can see there are this is the internal oblique, as well as along with it there is a transverse abdominis muscles. Both are united with the together. It is the internal oblique and transverse abdominis muscles. And after that there is a transverse abdominis which is covered by the fascia transversalis, which is very, you can just behind to the rectus abdominis muscles, behind to the arcuate line. You can see there is a very well defined this one is the arcuate line, and below it is the fascia transversalis. This is the fascia transversalis. So fascia transversalis. After that there is a layer, it is called the extraperitoneal connective tissue and peritoneum. So the layer of the abdomen, first of all it is the skin. Superficial fascia has a two layer, fascia camper, it is a fatty layer, and fascia scarpa, which is the membranous layer. After that there is a external oblique. Here you can see this is the external oblique muscles which directed downwards, forwards and medially. Here also you can see this is the external oblique. Another muscles, this is the external oblique muscles directed downwards, forwards and medially. After that you can see this is the internal oblique and transverse abdominis mostly together. The neurovascular bundles which is passes between the internal oblique and transverse abdominis muscles. So it is difficult to separate the internal oblique and transverse abdominis muscles. So this is the internal oblique which is directed upwards, forwards and medially. Upwards, forwards and medially. And transverse abdominis, mainly it is the same direction, but it is nearly horizontal fibers. It is the horizontal fibers. It is the transverse abdominis. Deep to the transverse abdominis there is a fascia, it is called the fascia transversalis. It is well demarcated into the lower part of the rectus abdominis muscles. This is the fascia transversalis, and this one is the arcuate line. And below to the fascia transversalis there is a extraperitoneal connective tissue and peritoneum. These are the layers of the anti-abdominal walls. Now today we will discuss about the first muscles. It is the external oblique muscles. External oblique muscles, it is a broad thin muscular sheet which arise from the lower 6 ribs, lower 8 ribs, mainly 5th to 12th ribs, at the angle of the 5th to 12th ribs, and it is inserted on the xiphoid upper fiber at the xiphoid process. It is inserted at the xiphoid process into the midline. It is called the linea alba. Midline of the abdominal cavity, it is the linea alba. Then pubic symphysis, pubic crest. This one is the pubic tubercle here, and this is a pubic symphysis. In between area it is called the pubic crest, and there is a pectineal line of the pubis. It is the insertion of the external oblique, and most lower fiber of the external oblique from anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle. It is the pre-fiber. It forms the inguinal ligament. And there is a one opening inside the external oblique into the just above to the pubic at the level of pubic tubercle. It is called the superficial inguinal ring, and this superficial inguinal ring which passes the spermatic cord or vas deferens, spermatic cord, and through this spermatic cord the testis passes the sperm into the urethra and ejaculated by the penis. So this is the spermatic cord, and this is a gap inside the external oblique just above to the pubic tubercle. It has a two crura, lateral crura and medial crura of the external oblique muscles, and the most lower fiber of the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle, the most lower fiber of the external oblique which is uprolled posteriorly, it makes the inguinal ligaments, and it is innervated by the lower six thoracic nerve. So it arises from the lower 8 ribs, origin from the lower 8 ribs. It is inserted on the zipper process throughout the linea alba, pubic symphysis, pubic crest, and pectineal line of the pubis, and it is most lower fiber of the external oblique from anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle, the lower fiber which is pre, and it is uprolled on the posterior side. It makes the inguinal ligament. On the medial side of the external oblique, on the lower part, there is a gap. It is called the superficial inguinal ring, and it transmits the spermatic pores. So this is about to the external oblique. Another muscles, it is the internal oblique, which is has a characteristic up to the, here you can see this is the external oblique we have reflected. This is the internal oblique along with the into the upper part with the transverse into the lower part along with the transverse abdominis, but into the upper part the internal oblique along with the external oblique muscles. This is the external oblique muscles. So the internal oblique origin from the thoracolumbar fascia. Inside there is a thoracolumbar fascia. It is arise from the iliac crest. This is the iliac crest on the intermediate area of the iliac crest, and also lateral 2/3 of the inguinal ligaments. Lateral 2/3 part of the inguinal ligaments. It is gives the origin of the internal oblique muscles. Lateral 2/3 of the inguinal ligament, intermediate area of the anterior 2/3 part of the iliac crest, and thoracolumbar fascia. It is the origin of the internal oblique. The muscles which is goes upwards, forwards, and medially, and it is inserted mainly lower 3 to 4 ribs and costal cartilage, mainly the 8 to 12 ribs and its cartilage, and it is also inserted on the linea alba. It is also inserted on the linea alba as well as on the pubic crest and pectineal line of the pubis. It is also innervated by the lower 6 thoracic nerve and first lumbar nerves. The main characteristic of the internal oblique is that it divides into the up to the lateral border of the rectus abdominis. It has a single lamina, but at the level of the rectus abdominis, the muscles which is divided into the 2 lamina. Here you can see it is not separated, so it has a 2 lamina. The anterior lamina which is pass along with the external oblique, and the posterior lamina which is passes behind to the rectus abdominis muscles. Mostly it is at the level of the arcuate line. It is lies between the umbilicus and pubic symphysis. In between there is a presence of the arcuate line, but it may be variable, sometimes slightly upper or sometimes lower. So this is the arcuate line. So this is the arcuate line, or it is also called the linea semicircularis or fold of the Douglas, and it is concave downwards. Here you can see it is the concave downwards. What is the importance of this arcuate line? Up to the arcuate line, the internal oblique has a divide into the two lamina. Anterior lamina pass along with the external oblique muscles. This is the external oblique muscles, and this is the anterior lamina of the internal oblique. Both are united, and this makes the anterior part of the rectus sheath. It makes the anterior boundary of the rectus sheath. But behind to the rectus abdominis, up to the arcuate line, from the costal margin to the arcuate line, the internal oblique and transverse abdominis muscles which makes the posterior boundary. But below to the arcuate line, the all three muscles here we have cut, but you can see this is the all three muscles: external oblique, internal oblique, and transverse abdominis. All three muscles together passes anterior to the rectus sheath, below to the arcuate line. So this is the characteristic of the internal oblique. Above to the arcuate line, it has a two lamina. Anterior lamina pass along with the external oblique, and posterior lamina it is pass along with the transverse abdominis muscles, and it makes the rectus sheath, formations of the helpful into the formations of the rectus sheath. So now supply of the internal oblique, it is the lower six thoracic nerve and first lumbar nerve. The third muscles, it is the transverse abdominis. Transverse abdominis, you have to remember, it is normally, here you can see this is the nerve, and above to the nerve mostly there is a fiber of the internal oblique, but below to the nerve, neurovascular bundles, this fiber, it is the fiber of the transverse abdominis muscles. And this transverse abdominis, it is arise from the lower six costal cartilage, anterior 2/3 of the inner lip of the iliac crest, and lateral 1/3, only lateral 1/3 of the inguinal ligament, while the internal oblique into the lateral 2/3 part of the inguinal ligament attachment, while the transverse abdominis which is attached into the lateral 1/3 of the inguinal ligaments. And so origin of the transverse abdominis, lateral 1/3 of the inguinal ligament, inner lip of the anterior 2/3 of the iliac crest, and upper side it is arise from the lower six costal cartilage and thoracolumbar fascia. It is inserted, it goes transversely, the fibers which is coming transversely, it is inserted to the xiphoid process throughout into the midline. It is the linea alba and pectineal line of the pubis. It is the insertion of the transverse abdominis muscles. It is also innervated by the lower six intercostal nerve. Here I will show you this, all these six intercostal nerves. These are the lower six intercostal nerves which are innervate and pierced innervate to the all these muscles of the anti-abdominal muscles, external oblique, internal oblique, and transverse abdominis are innervated by these lower six thoracic nerve, and transverse abdominis also innervated by the first lumbar nerves. And so this is about to the muscles, the rectus abdominis muscles. Fourth one is the rectus abdominis muscles. This rectus abdominis muscles, it has a this is the rectus abdominis. It arises from the lower part, and it is arise from the lateral 1/3. It is arise from the rectus abdominis, which is arise from the lateral head, which is arise from the lateral part of the pubic crest. Here there is a lateral part of the pubic crest, and medial head, which is arise from the medial part of the pubic crest, and also anterior pubic ligament. It vertically goes upwards. And it is inserted into the xiphoid process, and also 5th, 6th, and 7th costal cartilage. It is also innervated by the lower 6th thoracic nerve. And the characteristic of this muscles, rectus abdominis, there is interdigitation at the level of the umbilicus. This is the umbilicus. At the level of umbilicus, at the level of the xiphoid process. Here you can see this is a level of the xiphoid process. There is a interdigitations, and in between there is a one interdigitations. So this interdigitations which suggests that it is the segmental origin of the muscles, origin of the muscles, and functionally they makes the more muscles and increasing the muscles fibers, and so that's why it is more powerful muscles. So this is the about to the rectus abdominis. So you have to remember it is the straight muscles, vertical muscles, remaining three are the oblique or horizontal in shape, and the rectus abdominis muscle, it is throughout, it is the fleshy muscles, and it is arise from the pubic crest, lateral head and medial head. Lateral head from the lateral part of the pubic crest, and medial part from the medial part of the pubic crest, and also it arises from the anterior pubic ligaments, and it is inserted, it goes vertically inside the rectus sheath, which is the aponeurotic cover of the aponeurotic cover by the three muscles, external oblique, internal oblique, and transverse abdominis, and it is inserted on the 5th, 6th, and 7th costal cartilage, and also it is inserted at the xiphoid process. It is also innervated by the all this intercostal nerve, lower 6 intercostal nerves, which is innervated to it by the rectus abdominis muscles. Another muscles, it is the small muscles along with the rectus abdominis. It is the triangular muscles, very small muscles. It is the pyramidal muscles. It is the pyramidal muscles, pyramidalis, and this pyramidalis muscles, which is small triangular muscles, it is rudimentary inside the male, and it is arise from the anterior surface of the body of the pubis, and fiber passes upward and medially, and it is inserted on the midline into the linea alba. Inserted into the midline, it is called the linea alba. So this is the pyramidalis muscles, and the last muscle, it is the cremastric muscles, which is formed inside the scrotum. It is formed inside the scrotum. Mainly, it is formed by the, it is a continuation superficial loop from the middle 1/3 of the upper surface of the inguinal ligament, and deep loop from the pubic tubercle and pubic crest, and it is formed by the conjoint tendon. Also, it is a part extension of the, some books it is explained it is a extension of the internal oblique and transverse abdominis muscles, fiber of the continuation fiber of the internal oblique and transverse abdominis muscles. It is fully developed inside the male, but it is few fiber only inside the female. So this is about to the muscles of the anti-abdominal wall. The main actions of these muscles, anti-abdominal wall muscles, support of the abdominal viscera, and chiefly mainly it maintains the tone by the oblique muscles, which maintains the tone of the muscles. It is also act as a expulsive act, mainly the oblique muscles, external oblique and internal oblique muscles, and transverse abdominis. And expulsive act like micturations means urinations, defecations means to pass the stool, parturizations means the pregnancy to come out, vomiting. So these are the actions. It is the expulsive act by the, these are the anti-abdominal muscles. Force expiratory act, for it is also helpful for the expirations inside the respiratory movement, but not normal respiration, but it is called the forced expiration, mainly coughing, sneezing, blowing, and shouting. These are the external oblique which is helpful for the forced expiratory act. Movement of the trunk, it is the flexion of the trunk by the mainly rectus abdominis muscles, flexion of the trunk by the rectus abdominis muscles, lateral flexion of the trunk one side, lateral flexion, one-sided flexion by the contraction of the oblique muscles, and lateral flexion of the trunk by the one side of the contraction of the oblique muscles, and rotation of the trunk produced by the combination of the external oblique and internal oblique muscles. So these are the actions of the anti-abdominal muscles of the anti-abdominal wall. So this is about to the anti-abdominal muscles. I think so. Hope you like the lecture of the anti-abdominal muscles. Thank you.